Hello everybody, this is CrossForger, and today I'm going to show you how to make your very own Jumpman arcade machine. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is build your arcade window. This can be however you want to build it. I've just built it like this. This is my example here. You want to have some layers going on, and then these are purely for decoration. They don't actually do anything. They're just for looks. And of course you want to have ladders to get to each level. And finally we have the little winning slot right here. And I'll show you all the commands for this in just a moment. And just so you guys are aware, this is about 3 blocks wide. I left this gap in the top so that players can get out when they reach the final layer and finish the game. This game is played in survival mode. But the commands will automatically put you into that game mode, so don't worry about that. And without further ado, let's actually jump into the commands for this. And I am blinking incredibly long. There I am. Okay. Okay, let's actually get into these commands. So we're going to start with the platform right here that you start on. This is merely for looks. The players won't actually be standing here. So just as a quick tip, it'd be preferable if you turned off clouds. Otherwise, clouds can cut through here depending on the height of this. On a flat world like this, the clouds are about here, so I just have them turned off. But your height might be different for your world, so you might not have to turn those off at all. But let's jump into the commands real quick. So this is the camera command, and it is taking from the coordinates of this block right here. We're going to hop right in there, and this is the command I use. I'm not going to read it all out as this will take a while to do so, but I will give you guys plenty of time to view the command so you can write it down. The coordinates will be different for you. These are just the coordinates of the top block there. Rotation will also be a little bit different depending on the direction you are facing your build, whether that is east to west or north to south. My build is facing, this platform is facing from west to east. Okay, we are going to move on to the next command, which is the allowing barrels to actually spawn. What does this mean? Well, I will go behind the build and show you the commands back there, and this will make more sense. These coordinates here correspond to this air block right here. It will fill this gap, allowing the redstone signal to pass between all 4 of these command blocks. And then we will move on to the other side, which is the start clock, to actually allow the redstone to pass into that block and into the 4. So these coordinates right here correspond to this stone block right here, which below it has a command block to simply reset this from a redstone block back to a stone block, allowing for a quick pulse to travel through here, starting the clock, and it will just start rotating around and travel through here and into these 4 command blocks, which we will get to later, and we will continue on with the platform. All right, now we have the TP all players, which is this middle block right here. It is a very simple command. These coordinates here correspond to this bottom block right down here. So the players will spawn in this bottom left corner and make their way up the map. There is also a command block below all these, which is simply to set the player to survival mode. And then out the back, it will travel into these 2 command blocks here, which give the effect to feel more like an arcade game and to make it a little easier for the players to actually play it. So it gives a jump boost, and above it will give you a slow falling. So that is these top commands here. And we will move on to the back of the build. And we'll start with these 4 right here. These will summon each of the barrels, which will roll down the map. And each of these, I've just named them differently each time. This one just being barrel for barrel number 1. And this is barrel number 4. It is the same command, except the coordinates are different, and they correspond to each layer. So barrel 1 will spawn at the face of this block right here, so right about there. It'll spawn right there. Barrel 2 will spawn in front of this dispenser right there. barrel 3 will spawn there, and barrel 4 up there. The clock can be any length you really want. The shorter it is, the faster the barrels will spew out. The longer it is, the longer gap you have between each barrel. Okay, so let's actually get to getting these barrels to look like barrels instead of just armor stands, because that is what they are at the base. So first, we're going to turn them invisible. So we're just going to run at each named barrel. So barrel 1 will change invisible. Barrel 2, we will also change invisible. And also barrel 3 and 4 as well. Next, we're going to move over to these commands here, which is putting on something that makes it look more like a barrel, because now it's invisible, so no one's going to be able to see it. So we have right here, we have replacing the empty slot of the leggings with leather leggings. And this is for barrel 1 and barrel 2. These are, again, the same command, simply swapping out the name for each barrel. Then we will detect whether or not a player touches a barrel. If they do, it'll send them back down to the starting point, which, if you get stuck right there, I believe sends them back to this coordinate here. And if you get touched on this layer here, it will send you back to that block right there. And if you get touched on this layer here, it'll send you back to there, and this one will send you all the way down there. So we're going to detect that. Again, these coordinates will be for the starting block of each level, and the name will be different for each barrel, as you can see. So now that we have the detection, we're going to actually kill the barrels when they reach the end of their path, which, just for looks, I added a stone cutter at the end. So when it reaches about that block there, so just before the stone cutter, it will destroy the barrel. So as you can see right here, we have the coordinates of that block. So the X, Y, and Z. And then we have the width of the detection area, which is just one block. And then it'll just simply kill the barrel. So this is for barrel 2 here. We have barrel 3. This is to the new location. Barrel 4. And then barrel 1. Again, each of them with their own coordinates. And then, because if we kill an armor stand, it's going to drop its item that it's clothed with. So we want to not have that littered all over the place. So we're going to destroy those leather leggings when we're done with them. So that's a very simple command right there. But then what about actually moving the barrels? Because at the moment, they kind of just spawn in and sit there at the top. So let's actually move our barrels. So these are special because they are set on a delay of 5 ticks. This is so that they slowly move along, and also so they can go down blocks. Depending on how long you make this, will make them move slower. So if it's a bigger number, it'll move a lot slower. If it is a smaller number, it'll move faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this command out. Very simple. Each of these will be named differently for each barrel. Again, barrel 4. And then just barrel. And then also barrel 3. These are different though, because some are negative numbers, as you can see right here. And some of these are positive numbers. Now, why is this? Well, because each level flows in different directions. So this one will flow down this way, and this one will flow down this way. So the negative and the positive determine whether it's moving from left to right or right to left. So barrel 1 will move from right to left because it is a positive. But barrel 2 will move from left to right because it's a negative. What if you did not build your arcade where it is built from north to south? Essentially like facing this way. And what if you built it facing this way instead? Well, I've set up a example command here for an extra barrel, just barrel 5. So again, moving from east to west. So we're going to see what that looks like. Very simple. It's the same type of command, except we got this number here after this caret instead of after this caret. And this is the negative version, so it's going to move from east to west or from left to right. But all you have to do is change this to a positive to move it from right to left. And this is the summon barrel. So we're just going to summon him in, and he's going to go on his merry way. So what about when you reach the top? What happens then? Well, you will run over this pressure plate here, which will activate this command block here, which will clear the camera effect that everyone can see in first person again. Then it will run out here into these two command blocks here, which will set an air block to right down here. So it'll change this from a solid block allowing redstone to pass through to an air block, stopping redstone from traveling and not summoning any more barrels. Then we have up here, we'll set everyone's game mode back to creative. Then it will travel along here, and then it will set an air block at this end of the clock. So it'll change this redstone dust into an air block, and the power of the clock will go along, run into this air block, and stop the clock. Then after it runs through this long line here, and if you make the clock longer, you'll have to make this clock longer. After it runs through this, it will then reset that redstone wire back in place so that that corner will be placed down again. And then it will also clear all the effects from the players. And that's all the command blocks. If you wanted to, you could add something like, I don't know, a firework display so it shoots off some fireworks into the sky, or something like that if you wanted to. But that's up to you. So let's actually see this thing in action. So I'm going to start this and take myself right into the game. As you can see, I'm down in the corner. I have to kind of re-rotate myself a little bit. You could probably use some commands to change their direction so the players are facing the right direction. But as you can see, our barrels are coming through, and I'm going to jump over these. I'm going to wait for this one because I know it's coming. I don't want to hit my head. There we go. There's a ladder here, but I have dropped my render distance down. Okay, there we go. I put my render distance back up again so you guys can see the full thing. We're going to jump over this. And just so you guys can see this in action, I am going to touch one of these barrels. Okay, I jumped over that one. Well, I will instead have the barrel just touch me. You can see right there, I got teleported back to the beginning here. And I will also show what that looks like on this next layer here, so that you guys can see me also get moved to this layer here. So each of them have independent starting points. Once I get to the very top, and hit the pressure plate, I will be returned back to my normal point of view, and I will also be set onto creative mode, and eventually this will travel through and get rid of my status effects. And once all of the entities have gone through and killed themselves, the whole game is reset and ready to be played again. And all you have to do is press this button. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you liked watching this, please leave a comment to let me know. And if there's something else you want to see, I'd also love to hear that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of this day, and I hope I made it 10 times better. And may God bless you and keep you, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye!